Today we're going to be looking at a massive PlayStation 4 sales milestone. Not a lot of consoles hit that very difficult to reach 100 million unit shipped threshold, but the PS4 just nailed that. And that is a big deal. We'll be looking at all of the information regarding that. Also, speaking of the PlayStation 4, while everyone is looking forward to the PlayStation 5, there are still compelling new PlayStation 4 titles being announced, and I want to go over a brand new online sandbox RPG in Citadel Forged with Fire, as well as the newly announced 2D side-scrolling action RPG, the Oriental Exorcist, that's due out in 2020, and that looks like a really awesome game that hardly anyone is talking about. First up, the PlayStation 4 has reached a massive sales milestone. It has just topped 100 million shipments worldwide. Now, this is such a massive number because let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back before the release of the PlayStation 4, before November 2013, where people were honestly saying that they thought that this was going to be the last console generation. They thought that the PlayStation 4 wasn't going to sell as well as prior PlayStation platforms, and that the console market was dissipating and not a lot of people were going to buy consoles this generation. Boy, oh boy, how wrong some people were, because worldwide shipments for PlayStation 4 as of June 30th, 2019 have reached 100 million units. Again, that is incredible, and that is going to make the PlayStation 4 one of the most successful consoles of all time. Now, if you actually compare it at the same pace, it is outperforming the PlayStation 2. However, you have to remember that the PlayStation 2 was going strong for literally a decade. The PlayStation 4 is just not going to hit that time frame. As we get into 2021, 2022, the PlayStation 4 shipments and sales are going to really fall off a cliff. Really, going to the latter portion of next year, after the PlayStation 5 is released, you're not going to see the PlayStation 4 continuing to sell this well. It's not gonna hit, 150 million units. That's just a little bit too far-fetched. However, if anyone prior to the start of this generation told me that the PlayStation 4 was gonna ship 100 million units, and we're not even at the end, it could easily hit, 120, 130 million units. I don't think that's too far-fetched. But it is doing incredibly well. As far as how well it's doing, a total of 3.2 million PlayStation 4s were shipped during the first quarter of fiscal year 2019, which is equal to the 3.2 million shipped during the same period the previous fiscal year. If you're maintaining console sales year over year, I think that's pretty good, especially as we get into this latter portion of the PlayStation 4's life cycle. I was really expecting the sales to more so fall off a little bit, but it is stagnating, and that's really the most you can ask for at this point. It's not like the PlayStation 4 is gonna bolster up in sales in any significant way unless they release a new model, unless they have a crazy exclusive or they got some incredible bundle. Anything outside of that, a stagnation is perfectly fine in this time frame. Sony also altered its previous forecast that it'll sell 16 million PlayStation 4s in the fiscal year. Rather, they are now projecting around 15 million PlayStation 4s to be sold in the fiscal year. That's still a strong number, however, a little bit of a bummer that it has been narrowed down. Here are a couple of additional statistics that really paint a positive picture for Sony business right now. There are 36.2 million PlayStation Plus subscribers as of June 30th, 2019. That is up 2.3 million from the same period the previous fiscal year. That is a significant improvement, gaining 2.3 million subscribers from a previous fiscal year. Anytime you see improvements in a subscription model, that is really important, because those are people that are guaranteed to be investing money month over month or year over year. They're reoccurring customers, and you're constantly generating some form of revenue from them. Of course, I'm talking about this from a business standpoint. I don't like that we have to pay for PlayStation Plus. That's a completely different argument, but from a Sony business standpoint, that is looking really good. Also, PlayStation 4 software sold 42.9 million units in the first quarter of fiscal year 2019, which is up 2.3 million from the same period the previous fiscal year. 53% of those sales were full game software digital downloads compared to 43% the previous year. So that is a surprising statistic as well. 53% of those sales were full game software digital downloads compared to 43% the previous year. That is a significant jump year over year of people continuing to move over to digital downloads versus physical games. I think physical mediums are still going to persist, and you have to remember that all games are released digitally. However, there are some games that aren't released physically. So when you take into account that there are people that are buying games physically, however, those games that only see digital release, they'll go ahead and buy them digitally. That is going to skew the number towards the digital side of things. However, year over year, you can see a 10% improvement. And again, that is a significant improvement year over year. Wanted to go over all of those statistics because I found them rather interesting, obviously highlighted by the fact that the PlayStation 4 continues to kill it from a sales standpoint. Really interesting to see how they're going to parlay this success into the PlayStation 5. They could get super cocky like they did with the PlayStation 2 into the PlayStation 3 and go $599 US, but I think Sony is going to be learning from their mistakes. They know what they can get away with. They know what they can't get away with in terms of price points, in terms of what they can do to the consumer. the consumer more so than ever before in gaming history really pushes back into negativity. You saw that with stuff like crossplay. So I think Sony is going to be mindful of all of those elements heading into next generation. Whatever the case may be, the PlayStation brand is looking very healthy as we go into the end of 2019 and as we head into 2020 with the aforementioned release of the PlayStation 5. So all good stuff there. Alright, moving on from that, I do want to hit a couple of other things real quickly. Online sandbox RPG Citadel Forged with Fire launches October 11th for PlayStation 4. The game is actually available right now as a Steam Early Access title. It's gotten a little bit of a mixed reception. However, it does look to be a pretty interesting title. The game is a massive online sandbox RPG and it features elements of magic, spellcasting, building, exploring, and crafting. As a newly minted apprentice of the magic arts, you will set off to the dangerous world of Ignis, tame mighty beasts, forge alliances, explore uncharted territories, or fight for dominance. The game is being sold as an early access game for $25. I imagine that it will see some sort of a price increase when it sees its full release. That's generally how it works. Maybe it'll go up to $30 or $40. Just to give you guys an idea of the Steam reception, 3,396 user reviews, 63% of those reviews all time have been positive. However, it does paint a more positive picture if you do look at the recent reviews, 60 user reviews in the last 30 days, and 75% of those were positive. So it seems like the game is being updated and hopefully it gets better and better. Because from a presentation standpoint, I do think this game has quite a bit of potential. The game also does tout that you have complete freedom to pursue your own destiny, hatch plots of trickery and deceit to ascend the ranks among allies and enemies, become an infamous hunter of other players, build massive and unique castles, tame mighty beasts to do your bidding, and visit uncharted territories to unravel their rich and intriguing history. The path to ultimate power and influence is yours to choose. So again, the online sandbox RPG Citadel Forged with Fire will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on October 11th, a game that's coming out in the midst of the release of so many other major titles. I imagine that it's going to get lost in the shuffle quite a bit. However, I wanted to give it some attention as it will be arriving later this year. And lastly, I do want to give you guys a heads up that Chinese developer Wildfire Game have announced the Oriental Exorcist, a 2D side-scrolling action RPG due out for PlayStation 4 in 2020. This game looks really compelling, and from a presentation standpoint looks incredibly unique. An announcement trailer was uploaded and that looks really good. It's a stunning 2D side-scrolling action RPG set in a fictitious Oriental world. With the infestation of vicious demon monsters, play as a skilled exorcist against chaotic evil to fight your way through the brutal world and experience unforeseen entanglements of complex beings. The game touts a fantasy world. As an exorcist, you will go through various shapes and forms of area during the way of the execute, all in form of hand-painted, showing the vibrant world of the East. Frame-by-frame animation adopting the hand-drawn frame-by-frame animation method. The battle and actions of the characters in the game makes each stroke of the Dragon Man show the best expressiveness and smooth combat experience. Demon Slayer adding stamina setting to the game, which makes the combat experience more focused on the timing and distance. Players can find their own way of execute with different types of skills, and the game does have a human state using crossline interlude narrative-driven stories to present a bloody and fleshy image of the execute, and the people that two protagonists encounter on the way to the execute are hidden behind their own stories. Again, looks like a pretty interesting title, and these Chinese developers have been announcing some really cool games. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a ton of them be released, but hopefully the Oriental Exorcist release window of 2020 does stick, because this is one I'm definitely interested in checking out. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, the PlayStation brand is incredibly healthy right now, with PlayStation 4 worldwide shipments topping 100 million units. That is an incredible number, and we'll see how the number fluctuates throughout the rest of the year. Of course, as we head into the holiday season, a lot of consoles are going to be sold then, and we'll see how it does in 2020 with the release of games like Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. However, we'll also see how it's impacted with the advent of the PlayStation 5. The online sandbox RPG and Citadel Forged with Fire is coming to the PS4 on October 11th, and 2D side-scrolling action RPG The Oriental Exorcist is hitting the PlayStation 4 in 2020. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.